I think we are live now on Facebook Live. Should be in 3, 2, 1. Buddy, could you check if we are online now on Facebook? If we are live now on Facebook, buddy, could you check if we're online?
Hello, are you there, Airnel?
Yes, I'm here. We are now live in few minutes. We're going to start our live. We're already live on Facebook. Could you double check, buddy, if we are working on Facebook? Because I already seeing now that we are live and we saw
Yeah.
3 people. So and then we start
Okay. So
5 minutes.
I'm just having a look now. So yeah, we are live on Facebook. I can see we're live on Facebook. So I'm guessing if no one's logging into the Zoom, then we will take questions from the Facebook.
Yes.
In the
Yes. Okay.
Okay. It's very choppy. It seems a bit choppy at the moment, the connection. I don't think I have anything else running in the background at this point. I'm just checking. No, nothing running in the background. Okay. So,
Yeah.
okay. Oh, we're on air now. Okay. So, just a minute. I will. I'm just waiting for us to get a clearer connection before I hit the record button, because the connection
Okay.
seems very. I'm gonna disable my video just for now. I'll just keep the sound on. I'm just gonna stop, disable my video.
Okay, the same thing with same
this.
thing with me. Sorry. So that we
Yeah, because we've got a today, so we need to sort of just talk and not have the video, because the video's really slowing the slowing us down.
Yes, so we are now still live.
Okay.
Yeah, so we
Are
are
there
now
any
live on
questions
Facebook.
posted yet or not yet?
Again, sorry.
Are there any questions being posted yet or not yet?
We are not yet. We don't
Okay,
have yet
Airnel,
questions. So,
I'll let
buddy,
you
we can
start.
start our discussions on your.
Yep. Okay, sure. Do you want to start first, or would you like me to start? Hello? This is not a very good connection today. Hello, Airnel? I can't hear. Are you there, Airnel? It's very choppy. Hello?
Our Facebook will be back in few minutes.
Okay.
I'll be okay, because I need to restart my connection because it's getting terrible now. Yeah.
Yep. Go ahead and do that. If you restart your connection, does it close the chat, or I'll just invite you back in?
You can just I will make you now as the as host.
Okay. 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 So we'll just wait for Airnel, who's having computer problems, technical difficulties to log back in. So, okay, to all our Facebook viewers, and welcome to Ms. Louisa Ordonez. Welcome to Thursday's Q&A. Tuesdays we have our track interviews, and next Tuesday we will be interviewing SEA Games marathon champion Christine Halasgo. So that will be at 2 p.m. on Tuesday. Today we're on Track Talk Q&A. Our topic today is regarding coaching. We posted a question in Pinoyathletics group. Okay, I'll just start that again because I have to record. So, welcome to Track Talk Thursdays with Pinoyathletics. We're just waiting for Airnel because he's had some computer technical issues. So he just had to restart the computer. Very slow, laggy connection today. So on Tuesday, we will be hosting Ms. Christina Halasgo, the SEA Games marathon champion, will be featuring at 2 p.m. on next Tuesday. So today's discussion will be more on coaching Q&A, but any questions regarding training or pretty much any questions, Philippine track and field related. Today's topic is regarding coaching. We posted this question on the group. The question is, for an athlete, if they weren't improving with a coach, how long would it be before they decided to change coach? Would it be 6 months, a year, 2 years? They wouldn't change coach, or they would still change coach if they were improving with a coach. So we're just getting feedback on that. As it's a slow, laggy connection today, we're streaming live via Facebook, so we'll be answering questions posted on our Facebook page. We're live streaming on facebook.com/Pinoyathletics. Just trying to so Ms. Luisa Ordonez, can you hear us? Okay, just checking now on the Facebook to see if we have any queries. So in regards to Pinoyathletics, I'll just going through my to-do list of what's being covered at the moment. As of now, the Vietnamese have already had 0 COVID deaths, so they're already beginning their track season. In fact, the Vietnamese track season began yesterday with the Speedy Cup, with a lot of their SEA Games champions participating. I think Vietnam picked up 16 golds in the last SEA Games in track and field. They've already gotten their season underway, and we're posting daily reports and some of the key results up on the Pinoy Athletic website under the Nat Huang Speedy Cup. So again, we're open to any questions regarding Pinoy Athletics, but also we're also covering news from other Southeast Asian nations as a matter of interest to see and learn from what's going on in the other Southeast Asian nations. Airnel, are you back? Wait, sorry, Airnel, I've just unmuted. Okay. Are you back now?
Yes, I'm back now. So,
Airnel, I've just introduced what the topic is, who our guest is next week, and I just went into some information regarding the Vietnamese competition, which is already underway.
Yes. Okay. So again, we're back again. We apologize for the technical difficulties, ladies and gentlemen, because of course, with all the people using the Zoom and Facebook Live, I believe that we have challenges on the with or the internet connections that we have. So we continue our discussion, buddy, on our main topic or theme this afternoon, which is how long should a coach be a coach to, based on studies and experience as well. Being a level for the public's attention, Andrew Pirie is a level 3 athletics coach in the Athletics Australia and also a former of the Philippine Sports Commission related to athletics. And of course, me and Andrew are the co-founders of Pinoy Athletics, an independent online news and blog dedicated to the Philippine athletics community. Disclaimer, we are not the Athletics Federation of the Philippines and we don't have the intent to do so. We are on community catering especially to the grassroots and to the even up to the elite levels for news and views related to Philippine athletics. So we continue our discussion. So we can start our topic again. To those who are joining us in Zoom, you can type your comments and questions, and we will do our shout outs in a few minutes as we browse to your questions and comments on both Facebook and Zoom. We would like also to acknowledge the presence of earlier Maria Luisa, who I don't know what happened to her connection. So, but still we are on board on Zoom and Facebook. So, buddy, to start our discussion, we can do so
Yep.
now.
I'll just give some perspective on some of the responses I got when I posted this question on the Pinoyathletics group. There was a multitude of answers, which ranged
Mhm.
from some athletes expected immediate results, which wasn't
Mhm.
surprising. A lot
Yeah.
of people said about 6 months to a year. That was the common consensus. No one was really willing to wait, 2 years for an improvement before moving on to another
Mhm.
coach who could possibly, get that improvement from the athlete. My perspective is on this is it depends on the with the athlete. It depends where they're at in the stage of their career. Now, a beginner athlete, especially one, who, let's say you have an athlete who's 10 or 11 years old and then they go through puberty, of course, that strength gain from going through, that body change is going to lead to quite a big improvement. As well as that, what I found is an athlete, when they're in their first year and they're learning the basics, they usually, that's the biggest gain they're going to have. So what my view is with athletes is if they're every year from the start up until the elite level, there's improvements, but the improvements are getting less and less and less, but there still should be improvements. So say, for example, coaching athletes, you might have an athlete who is, like very raw, who doesn't have, who hasn't even learned the basic drills, for example. They might start off running 16 seconds for the 100 meters, and then you might get them down to 13 or 14. But
Mhm.
say, for example, in this case, it was a girl athlete who was 14. They're not going to jump from 13 to 10.5, which is the same amount of improvement in the second year, because only a handful of women in the world have ever ran have ever ran as quick as like in that 10.7 range.
Mhm.
Only a dozen women or less have run that sort of time. So of course they're not going to improve that much in the second year. So say, for example, a 3-second improvement in the first year, maybe you'll get maybe 1 second or half a second improvement in the second year, because they've already learned a lot from the basics, but then they have to move on. You need to find other aspects of the training to improve them. Once sprinter gets to the really elite level, though, even improvements of 0.1 and 0.15, for example, become really difficult in the 100. If sprinters are improving by 0.2 a year, then the coach is doing a really good job. But even 0.1 to 0.15 is challenging once the sprinter gets to a certain level of capability.
Mhm. Yes, continue, buddy. Yeah. So
Um,
you so it means that based on your insights that
yeah,
the athlete should on the coach regardless of their levels whom they really improve even at to the grassroots level, because of course in the current context of the Philippine athletics we saw many athletes who are from Palaro, etc.,
yep,
who are
yep,
always being highly encouraged to go to the capitals to Manila, but then with a
yep,
different coach. I think that we really point the discussion on our collaboration, because for the context
mm,
of our listeners, me and Andrew collaborated twice, especially during 2015 to 2016, in relation to our athletes in Ateneo de Davao who qualified for the city meet and then from the regional. And then her name is Nix, of course,
yep,
for privacy reasons. But then during the time of Nix, she only started athletics in July 2014. But then in the span of less than a year, especially on February 2015, she was able to set her personal best, Abarra, in less than
yep,
a year. Andrew and I worked together. It's not. It's we collaborated on the program, so we can discuss discuss also how we did it. Of course, in relation to as a way to share our practices related to
Yeah.
collaboration.
Mm.
Because we believe
Yeah.
in
Mm.
Pinoyathletics that we should always consider working together. It's not only those who just only saying this and that, but really
Yeah.
this it's about an open
Mm.
discussion, an open forum.
Yeah.
That's why we would like we
Yeah.
highly encourage you to type your questions and comments, and then we will read it, please. We are already live both on Zoom on Facebook, and the link
Yeah.
is there on Facebook. If you want to join
Yeah.
us for more interaction on Zoom, yes, buddy,
Yeah.
continue.
I'd like to add with the example of Nix. I mean, she went from about 31 seconds to about 28.3 in about 4 or 5 months. The other thing to note with Nix is that when Nix came on board, she's not like a young kid who's going through those gains because of puberty. She's already 16 or 17 years old when she started. So she wasn't, a lot of the gains that Nix got were through basically, like through learning drills, through getting, more competent with the training. It wasn't, there weren't the strength gains from naturally growing, and not this, it's not, they're not going to be there in comparison to, say, for example, you have a 10 or 11-year-old, they go through puberty, and then all of a sudden they're bigger and stronger. That's not the same when you start with an athlete who's older, like that age. So yeah, the athlete went from 31 to 28.3 in 4 or 5 months. The only reason there was the improvement stopped was because Nix really was in a difficult course, and she really had to prioritize her studies, so she didn't have any time to train anymore. But there were continued improvements, which probably, would have continued. The only issue was, like she was doing, what was it, Airnel architecture or something. So she had to devote
She's
all her
studying
time.
architecture now, and besides, we don't have a college varsity program at Ateneo University due to, of course, these administrative reasons. But that's why we can only maximize, ladies and gentlemen, what students we have, because of course we don't have scholars. We need to work on our own uh, student population or populace in order to find potential athletes who will join the grade school up to the
Yeah,
senior high school team. So it's up to 17
yeah,
to 18 years old that we can only handle athletes
yeah,
in the context of Ateneo de Davao University
yeah.
during my time.
And the good thing about the arrangement that we had with Nix, and which I've had with other athletes, is with Airnel, it was more about cooperation and collaboration, because Airnel and me are communicating with each other. It's not like I'm directly going to Nix, or Nix is directly going to me and doing my program secretly and doing Airnel's as well, and basically ending up with a, like a program in which she's doing 2 different programs, and she risks getting injured because she's following 2 different coaching views when the coaches are not working together. This happens a lot in the Philippines. I mean, you get a lot of kids, and they might not be happy with that they're not getting anywhere on their coach's program. So what they do a lot, because now social media and Facebook is more common, these kids are going, like, they're contacting other coaches and asking for programs. But because the kid is at a school or they're at a college and they've already got a coach who's giving them a program, the coach at the college or university, they're obligated to do that program, but then they're also secretly trying to do another coach's program, and then they're doing too much, and that's when injuries happen. So in my view, if an athlete is seeking another coach for advice, it's better that the current coach and the other coach talk first, and not, like the athlete is just secretly going to another coach and still doing their coach's program, because that's what leads to injuries. Because, they're trying to do the workload of 2 coaches. They might be totally different, training loads each day, and then boom, then there's injury. That's how injuries happen. And, if you don't, and it's very easy to get blamed if you're, like you're the coach who they've gone to for not communicating with the actual coach of the athlete.
Yes, exactly. That's why, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to imply that, of course, the most important thing on how we coaches could collaborate or work together is really open discussions. And at the same time, athletes, please don't think on the concept of secret training or like strategies that aside from what
Yeah,
your coaches is giving. Please stick to the program of your coach, and then if you like
yeah,
to consult another coach, make sure that you also inform your current coach so that they can work together. Mga kaibigan, importante
yeah,
kasi na napansin namin na yung mga atleta natin kapag hindi
yeah, yeah. Yeah, if you're an athlete, secret training is not really smart or clever or innovative at all. It's really, a lot of the time, it's a recipe for injuries. Because, you know, if you've got a coach and the coach is giving you a program, right, and the coach is giving you a structured program or whatever, then, like, you know, there's obviously some, hopefully there's some sort of planning which goes into it. Now, the amount of training you're being given is from the coach is basically, as per the coach's perception, the correct amount of training that you're supposed to get. And, you know, like, you need to take also into account the principles of rest and recovery, meaning that, you know, if you're going to train, you also have to rest and recover between sessions as well. If you go and do a training session secretly without telling your coach, and you're supposed to be resting and recovering, you know, how are you going to recover for the next training session that you're supposed to be scheduled to actually do? It's like you're going to end up, you know, like basically overtiring yourself, go tired to the next training session, and then risk injury. So I think that, you know, like if you're going to follow a coach, follow that coach. And if there's any concerns with the program, you need to talk to that coach and sort of work it out that way first. And if, you know, another coach needs to come in to be consulted, it's the decision of your current coach while you decide to work with that coach.
Yes, exactly. Because we notice, ladies and gentlemen, that's why we would like to highly stress that you should always cooperate and stick to one program at the same time also. Because if you do two
Yeah,
programs like for one
yeah,
day or one train, will really lead you
yeah,
to injuries. Because the ideal program based on the context, especially for sprints or like anaerobic training, it should not be lasting for more than 2 hours. Because of course, as far as biological foundations is concerned, enduring workouts more than 2 hours lead already to the wasting of your muscles, meaning that your fuel, as the fuel of your body, can mostly last for 1 or 2 hours, as unless you're doing marathons or long distance running. For example, if you're doing sprints or strength based training, it should not be more than 2 hours, because if you went more than, chances that your muscles will be really on its point that it will be eaten up, quote unquote, by your biological systems or your muscles. So why if in on the context of our working together with Nix and other athletes, we always imply, mga kaibigan, mga atleta, na magpaalam ng maayos sa inyong coach. Kung mayroon kayong gustong program na idagdag or baguhin, you should always consult your coach. It's also a sign of respect and also as a sign of trust, because if you're hopping or following for a program, it means you don't trust your coach. Even that your coach is, or like the concept of being your chaperone on training, you should always inform him or her for any programs if you think that it could be helpful to their progress. Yes, buddy, further comments while I'm looking at the questions or shout outs on Facebook Live.
um, yeah. So, like, I mean, yeah, 2 hours is more than enough time for a training session. But, you know, if we're talking sprints, yeah, like for longer distances, maybe, I'm not sure if that would still apply, but definitely if we're talking for the sprints and power events, yeah, 2 hours max. I mean, I like to keep training to about an hour and a half, including the warm up, the workout, and the cool down. I like to keep it to an hour and a half. I find in the Philippines, compared to colder countries, the warm ups generally don't need to be as long. of course, like there are more points to a warm up than just actually warming up. There are other reasons we do warm ups, which I will go into if we have time. Do we have any comments on FB at the moment, or any questions?
So far, not yet, but I think we are only one or two people. Anthony Valdez is already online and listening, and Dario Dumlao. Sir Dario, you're already on Zoom. If you like to ask questions or type your chats here, pwede po niyong gawin. So, Sir Dario Dumlao, kindly type your comments and questions.
Okay, while we're waiting for comments and questions, I'll just go into
Okay,
an article.
you can give us a update related to the you mentioned about the Vietnam already started their athletic season, and perhaps you can share to us, buddy, what are the significant events or things that we're doing. By the way, for the public, while you are preparing on that, we to inform you that we will do related coverage here in Europe, because that's where I'm here for my studies. Pinoyathletics will be on board to the major Diamond League events here in the mainland Europe, especially in Monaco or in Ostrava in Czech Republic. It's not Ostrava, but also in Monaco or in Stockholm, where our pole vaulter EJ Obiena will be joining. So expect Pinoy Athletics will be live there, and we will give you exclusive coverage on the World Athletics Diamond League for this season. So, buddy, yes, regarding regarding what you have shared about the Vietnamese track and field season now, because they don't have any cases of COVID, so they have the advantage of preparing. Any other things on our statistical analysis on with that?
Okay, so the Vietnam's first competition of the year, as I mentioned before, they haven't competed at all this year. This is their first meet for the year. It's called the Nhat Duong Speedy Cup. It's held in Ho Chi Minh City, and it began yesterday. I believe it's a 6-day competition, so it's from the 10th to the 16th of June. The structure of this meet is they have different age grades. They have 12, 13-year-olds, 14, 15-year-olds, 16, 17, 18, 19-year-olds, and open. Open, like at the last SEA Games, the Vietnamese got 16 gold medals. The one before that, they got 17 gold medals. The Vietnamese will be hosting the SEA Games in late 2021. They haven't hosted since 2003. They began their season, and a lot of their SEA Games champions from the last two SEA Games were present at this meet. I will be writing up a full update on day 2. I posted some updates on day 1 on the Pinoyathletics website. It's under something like Nhat Duong Cup, Vietnamese Cup. So yeah, the highlights of this competition so far is the SEA Games 100-meter champion, Le Tu Chin. She just opened with 7.40 seconds, which is 0.04 off her lifetime best, which was set in 2017. Looking at her times, she's in about the same shape as she was at the SEA Games based on those times. I know this because, when I was 15, like the 7.4 and 11.5, those were like roughly what I was running when I was 15 years old. So the times definitely correlate. The 60-meter times means, she's got some good 100-meter speed at the moment. So that was the main result on the first day. There was also some men who were running around the 6'8", 6'9" region, so probably, 10'6", 10'7" guys. Quite a few new male 100-type sprinters emerged. So on the second day, in the women's 400 meters, there was a race with 4 women in it. They were all, I think 3 of the members of their 4x4 relay team. And included in that were the SEA Games gold and silver medalists from the 400 at the last SEA Games. So Quach, who won the gold at the last SEA Games in the women's for the 400, she opened her season with 53.12. And Hoyen, who's the silver medalist in the SEA Games 400 and the gold medalist in the SEA Games women's 400 hurdles, opened her season with 54.6. So that was basically a straight final of 4 athletes. In the men's 400, in the SEA Games champion and the SEA Games silver medalist in the 400 and the 2015 SEA Games silver medalist, all 3 of them went comfortably through to the final in around 48 seconds. Very comfortable running on the video. They just closed down the last 50. They just eased up the last 60. Just ran through to the finals. And some of the other results, women's 800 was 212. Again, it's 205 runner. Very early season for them. That was pretty much it. I mean, I have some more updates I will put later on the site, but that's all I can recall off the top of my head.
Yeah. So far, we have also questioned on the other group chats that we have. So far, according to Mr. June Cabrera, I think he already, June Cabrera, sa totoo lang, wala kaming magagawa kami makapag-recruit kasi nga yung situation natin ngayon. Gusto ko malaman if the bang DepEd yung DepEd sponsor. Of course, we are not on a position to inform everyone that if DepEd will have meets. But as far as we know, Secretary Leonor Briones already informed that there will be no palaro this year due to COVID-19. And of course, we will still wait for their final decision after or next year. What will be the thing about palarong pambansa, if they will adjust the eligibility age or something like this. But of course, as we know, we should, if DepEd won't have meets due to the COVID-19, perhaps we can also try to encourage everyone to do micro meets, like what they're doing now in Czech Republic with all the restrictions. They did the invitational or like part of their program in Prague, but then there are no audience. There are like only 25 to 30 people inside the stadium, but still it's still like a similar competition. It's just that they don't have audience. So I hope that as far as, of course, being the facilitator or meet manager of the Mindanao Blue Knights Track League, given the resources and if all the restrictions will be lifted by 21 or January 2021, we will do one leg hopefully by early 2021, even without palaro. That's in Davao, as long as we are allowed by the city government to do this event, or also as far as the admin of Ateneo de Davao will be concerned. So that's why, as far as we know, if will not be this, or if all the restrictions won't be lifted, we won't see much athletics event aside from the intent of PATAFA to hold the National Open on December 2020. So far, ladies and gentlemen, that is all that we can say about the events in the Philippines.
Can I add something?
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
on,
so at this stage, right, it's been in the newspapers that 7 NSAs, including the PATAFA, have already requested to the IATF, which is the the health experts who basically say whether it's okay to proceed or not. At this point, NSAs are only just starting to request that their athletes be allowed to go back into training. We're not talking about competitions at this point. They're trying to get the clearance from the IATF to go back into training. From what I read regarding the PBA, which is basketball, they haven't heard back from the IATF yet. So these things, the IATF obviously needs to look at the proposals. It's going to take a little while for them to evaluate, and then then eventually they'll approve or decline the request. The request was already made by 7 NSAs through the PSC and the POC, and that's just to get back into normal. That's just to get back into a restricted training routine. as of now, there's been no, it's just a proposal at this point. There's been no answer yet from the IATF, according to the newspapers. So at this point, we still need to get past the point where, like we're allowed to get back into training before we can even consider any competitions.
Exactly. So that's why we must imply that, of course, as of now, we don't we are still waiting for the orders of the
IATF.
IATF, what would be their things about this situation. So far, we will browse. We will now browse again to the people who join us on Facebook. So far, June Valeroso online, Anthony Valdez online. Mr. Dario Dumlao, if you're here, please also type your questions or comments. We still have like 30 minutes or so to continue our live stream. And then, by the way, we are waiting for our participants both on Zoom, on Facebook. We would like also to invite you to our Track Talk Tuesday, and our guest is Christine Orgasco, 2019 SEA Games Marathon Champion. It will be on Tuesday, June 16, 2022 p.m. Philippine time. So please join us. Christine is from Bukidnon and also a product of the State Colleges and Universities Athletic Association, and she qualified to the national training pool by completing and winning the meter run during the 2019 National Open in Ilagan, Isabela. And it would be interesting to know that also Christine was a former sprinter during her squad days, and then she moved to marathon, and then also she's a mother of she has also children. It would be good how she able to overcome these circumstances and be the SEA Games champion. So she will be our guest for next Tuesday. And then coming soon, we hope that Clinton will be on board as well on our fourth week. And then we're still waiting for a surprise guest from Germany on last week of June. It preferably on Thursday, June 25, but then we are still waiting to our contact in Germany, Coach Rudiger Harksen. And then also, we will discuss related to long jump on the last week of June. I invited Dr. Sandor Beresh of the Department of Athletics of the Physical Education. Dr. Beres is once the silver medalist in European Masters Athletics in long jump and sprints, and um, his expertise is related to biomechanics in our university. So that would be interesting, especially those who are coaching long jump. So we hope that you can join us every Tuesdays and Thursdays Philippine time for the track talks here at Pinoy Athletics. So, okay, we would like also to shout out Mr. Airnel Fuentes Sanchez. You're welcome po, wala pong anuman. So, we hope that you can join us for our discussions. Okay, buddy. So far, what else is in store for there in Australia? What they are doing now? Do they have this kind of restrictions with the events, or they do something
Okay,
unique?
with training, there are safety measures in place, but coaches are allowed to coach groups of up to 10 people as long as social distancing is applied. So, schools are already back. Gymnasiums are opening on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
And coaches are allowed to train groups of up to 10 people as long as they're adhering to the social distancing protocols.
Okay, yeah, so it's still different situation nowadays everywhere in the world. Here in Hungary, of course, they partially lifted the restrictions. Borders are now open, but mostly for its citizens. But of course, they're still very careful towards distancing, etc. The Gule Memorial, which is the biggest event, Hungary international event, and World Athletics tour will happen mostly in August or September. So most of the athletic season will happen in September here in Europe. So especially it's also most of them are qualifiers for the 2021 Tokyo Olympics. So and then we hope 2021 Tokyo Olympics we will be there, but of course it depends on the situation, because of course the media accreditations is one of it should be endorsed by the National Olympic Committee. So we'll try to find our ways to at least go there on our as an academic or as a researcher as far as the University of Physical Education is concerned, but dependent on their decisions. So, but of course, as assured that for the Diamond League here in the legs of Diamond League in Europe, especially in the mainland Europe, we will try our best to cover and to report some of the major events for the World Athletics Diamond League this season.
Okay, I have an update with the Vietnam Open.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry, not the Vietnam Open, the Vietnam Speedy Cup.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure if this is a heat or a final. I think actually it might be a final because there's only 3 people in it. But Letu Chin just ran 11:55, so she ran 11:54 at the SEA Games. So when I said she ran 7:40 yesterday, and that means that she's in shape to run at the same time she ran at the SEA Games, which was 11:54. I was pretty accurate because she ran 11:55. She ran 11:54 at the SEA Games. She ran 11:55 today this morning, and I said that 7:40 means she is in shape to run 11:54, which she ran at the SEA Games. She ran 11:55 today. So she's in the same shape at the beginning of the season as she was at the SEA Games. That's her first race in 6 months.
Yes.
Just got to send a message. So yeah, it's pretty good. A lot of things to improve, but I think she's running the 200 tomorrow.
So we continue our now. So again, our announcement for this morning. So of course, we would like to invite you to our sessions every Tuesdays and Thursdays. We will continue with our shout outs. Jun Valeroso, Tony Valdez, Airnel Fuentes Sanchez. Thank you for joining. Dario Dumlao, thank you for joining us both on Zoom and on Facebook. And so, excuse me, Sir Dario Dumlao, do you have any comments or questions? If your connection is unreliable, kindly it here so that we can see. But also, we would appreciate if you can video chat with us as well.
Hello, Coach.
Yes, opo. Saan po kayo connected, Coach Dario? Ano pong affiliation nyo po?
Ako po ay isang coach po sa elementary sa DepEd Manila.
Okay. Saan pong district or school po eksakto sa Manila po? Kung saan po kayo nagko-coach?
Bacood po, Bacood Elementary School.
Okay, sa Santa Mesa.
Opo, Santa Mesa.
Opo. Athletics po ang hinahandle nyo, tama?
Yes, sir. Tapos,
okay.
Meron kasi kaming yung meeting with the supervisor nung bago mag-June. May binanggit siya sa amin na yung inilabas doon sa DepEd na yung sa memo, wala siyang palarong division, palarong CR. Pero doon sa dulo, may palarong pambansa na nakalagay. Kasi parang, ngayon ang instruction nila sa amin bilang mga coaches at saka teacher ng mga bata ay mayroong event na binanggit sila na lalaroin. Ang wala doon yung group event Yung group event. Tapos wala daw mga audience. Pero yung athletics, isa yun sa mga event na maaaring mangyari sa palarong pambansa this coming 2021. Yun yung
okay.
Kasi yung mga activity na pinapagawa sa amin, yun ang mahirap kasi hindi namin alam. Hindi pa namin masyadong kabisado kung paano i-encourage yung bata na mag-i-train at dapat lahat pare-parehas ang gagawin.
Ayun, so that's also the thing that we should always imply, Sir Teacher Dario, that of course, given yung situation natin, we can only encourage our school children to train on their own based on the guidance and programs that we can do, especially for a very crowded place like Manila. I'm sure it's very challenging dahil of course ang common na open spaces lang, especially of course I live in Santa Mesa for during like 15 years ago, and mostly the public spaces there are small parks and also gyms or basketball courts. So I think we can maximize those things, and then at the same time, given the situation now, I hope that if without palaro, through the don't know, but of course it could be good that if the Sport Council of Manila can introduce an alternative event that will cater related to athletics. So kung wala man ng DepEd or nag-cancel man DepEd, of course the Manila Sports Council, or I think MASCO, can perhaps through the initiative of our policymakers or of our units, that they can fill the gap or the space of the absence or the postponement of palaro for this year as a way for our school children to be back in competition, but I mean in activity. As I mentioned, yung practice of the Czech Athletics Federation, they do the micro events, meaning only less than 30 people are inside the stadium. And of course, it is feed online to those who want to watch it. So it means only the athletes and the officials are joining the event. Other practices that we heard here in Europe to practice distancing and all the restrictions is, for example, the German Bundesliga started already resumption of the events, but only the athletes and the officials are allowed inside the stadium. So meaning they still have the events, but without live audiences. And I think that's also the practice that we have been done here. When, for example, our women's basketball team at the University of Physical Education, they train closed doors, meaning no other audience, and they make sure that they practice safe distancing even with this kind of situation. Kasi of course we can only do what we have based on the context of the or the policies given by the IATF during the Philippines or here the so yun yung pwede natin gawin. And of course, excuse me, that we can also look on other that we can we can still so, uh, you're in then we can look, especially in Manila, you have the access to Rizal Memorial Sports Complex. Or in PUP, I think you have oval as well in PUP in Santa Mesa. So that's what we are doing, like what we have in the Mindanao Blues. That of course we build the program 7 years ago with and it's run by the community, regardless of DepEd or not, private or not, and even the children or the school children are also being taught how to be part of the event as officials, etc. So, kasi if we lack the manpower to open the event or to organize event, we can really tap on our students because they are very fast learners. In our experience, we taught our student officials less than 3 hours to about the rules and about an athletic event, and they're still continuing. So so that's why if we can find ways to organize something in the near future upon the approval of IATF, then we could do something about it. Thank you. By the way, we have now who is our participants here, Anthony Valdez of the Cavite. So thank you, sir, Coach Anthony, for joining us, both on Zoom and on Facebook. So, buddy, we can wrap up this one in 15 minutes. So further thing or updates that you can like to share with us. Still, we are open to your comments and questions on Pinoy Football.
What I'll do is what I said I was going to do before. If there's no more questions being asked,
Yeah.
I'm basically just going to go through some concepts regarding drills for sprints. I'm not going to go into details on how to do drills. I'm just going to basically go through the importance of drills in warm-ups. So the first thing is, when teaching drills to sprinters, the athlete goes through different learning competency levels. Beginner, being shown how to do the drills, can do the drills when supervised by a coach in training, can do the drills unsupervised in training, can apply the movement of the drill in a specific event in training, can apply drill movements in a specific event in competition. When a coach is coaching athletes, it's important that they don't let the athlete do the warm-up unsupervised, especially with beginners, and monitor and make corrections to the athlete using a variety of teaching methods, which can include briefly explaining how the drill is to be performed, demonstrating the drill to the athlete and getting them to watch from front, back, and side views, manipulating movement by positioning leg and arms in correct positions, breaking the drill down into smaller steps, taking a video of the athlete and showing them how they do the drill, and showing another video of how you want them to do the drill by other athletes on video that are good examples. Remember to always give positive praise to athletes in front of the group for performing drills correctly. It helps motivate them and aspire to learn more. Feedback from a coach should always be positive or constructive and never negative. So again, the importance of doing drills for the sprinters. Drills emphasize correct movement patterns while running. This is important because A, an athlete has better movements, moves more efficiently, wastes less energy moving forward, hence generates more efficient turnover and stride length, and force is being delivered correctly to the ground. Hence the athlete, in this case, sprints, runs faster. As an athlete is exerting force in the ground for greater than their body weight, it is important that this force is being directed in an efficient and balanced manner. Motions such as overstriding and butt kick can cause tears and overstrain in the muscles. This is usually a product of incorrect teaching of drills. It's very important that drills are conducted in a manner as suggested. Coach explains to the athlete about the drill if beginner, if not advises the athlete to do the drill, remembering from last time what they need to fix. The athlete performs the drill, coach observes. If you have an iPad or video recording device, can be useful here. The athlete walks back. This is important that this is done and the athlete isn't rushed into the next drill because it gives them time in between. Drills are technical and, the brain and neurological learning process. They're not conditioning type exercises. The athlete needs time to absorb the new information and be automatically conscious of his or her movements and have time to auto-correct them. Athletes should not be overloaded with information and learn step by step. Coaches should be patient and find ways to help the athlete absorb this new information. an example is when I was teaching drills. One athlete I was teaching pulling, and she couldn't get it. So I taught her how to do the shuffle drill on each leg, which she found easier. Then she learned the shuffle drill on both legs. Then after 20 minutes, she was able to do pouring, which she couldn't get anywhere near the 20 minutes, anywhere near right the 20 minutes before. The athlete needs also some rest to reset the muscle contractions. The coach will provide feedback to the athlete, and again, feedback should always be positive or constructive and never negative.
Yes, thank you, buddy. Okay, shout out ko lang again, Miss Tess Lumbawa, Bulacan. By the way, to those people who would like to send their further comments outside of our airtime, you can email me at airnel.abarra@protonmail.com. And then, so yes, you're right, buddy, about the concept of recovery. Again, people, ladies and gentlemen, always imply that it's not always more is good. So it's not always good that there's a concept of no pain, no gain. Pain happens for many reasons. First, it's either reminder to your body that you're exceeding too much, or also as a relation to if you're getting or etc. So you should be aware and mindful on what your athletes feel, especially on the positive feedback. Um, we should not always treat, ladies and gentlemen, training as like as a form of military training. Of course, military training is another form of training. It's not always that if your athletes has the concept of discipline and obedience through fear or through negative reinforcement, it's not healthy for the athlete. The athletes that we're handling are mostly children, like 12 years old up to 16 years old, and I must say they are not on their crucial stage of their psychosocial development. Have meaningful experiences while
I
training.
think we should extend another 15 minutes because we're getting people watching and commenting, like just
Yes,
joining in and commenting.
yes, of course. We can still join us until 9:30. So and then we're thankful that you join us, ladies and gentlemen. So you can look on our chat if they're on our chat box if they are having some. Okay. So
Yeah, by the way, that part about the drills that I just read out, and it's available on Pinoyathletics under drills for sprinters. That's not something I copied and pasted from a book. That's something that I came up with off the top of my head, but not just me. I mean, I talked to some other coaches. I talked to a couple of other coaches and bounced ideas off them as well. And I compiled that based off conversations with other coaches and from my own experience as a coach. That's not something that wasn't something I just copied and pasted from somewhere else on the internet, or like just copied and pasted from a book. I actually came up with those ideas from talking to other coaches and from my own experience as a coach. So that is available again on drills for sprinters on pinoyathletics.info. And the website in itself, as well as being a area where you can get results, it's also a good repository for information on training concepts and that sort of thing as well.
yes, so that would be very interesting. And then that's why we encourage you, ladies and gentlemen, to really look, or should we say, our Facebook group. So that's where our discussion is. And of course, for announcements, it's our Facebook page. Okay, so Miss Tess Rumbawa of Bulacan, I'm going, bago pa lang ako nagko-coach here in Manila. So I was in the province, I did coaching this year. I'm happy to learn. Okay, you're very much welcome, Ma'am Tess. Dumalot magpadalo po tayo sa Martes para sa talk with Christine Organiza Haliasgo. June de Viñas of Cebu City or Cebu Province. Mayong hap.
Okay. Sorry, Airnel, you're a bit choppy there. It's like you're cutting out. Hello? Are you there still, Airnel? Sorry,
Yes,
you
I'm
just
still
really cut
here.
out then. I didn't get any of that.
Okay, what I'm saying is that of course we just on more. Thank you, June D. Viñas of Cebu for saying more power. Then of course we are always here to help the Philippine athletics community in our small capacities. Okay, buddy, you can continue your discussion because I have my computer went slow today. I don't know why, even that I close all that. It's really the connection that is, yeah.
Are there any actual questions from the Philippine athletic community, or are they just it's more just comments, right? Or are there actually questions as well, or is it just shout
It's
outs?
mostly comments. Yeah, it's mostly shout outs and
Shout
comments.
outs are good. Yep.
Yes. So
Yep. Okay. The shout out, there's nothing wrong with shout outs. I'm just saying, is there a comment? If there is there questions, if not, the shout outs are very well appreciated. Okay. Are you there, Airnel, still? Okay. So we still have another 20 minutes or so. I'm just going to just briefly touch base with some of the things that are in the queue in terms of research and what we're covering. The first thing is that as a member of the Association of Track and Field Statisticians, I've been working very closely with Stephen Newton, who's talking Chinoi. He's got his own YouTube channel where he's mainly focused on distance running. Pinoyathletics likes partnering with Stephen. He's very, he's very to the point. He's very he does his research. He's very passionate about athletics, and he basically tells the truth when he makes his vlogs. He doesn't cover anything. He basically just puts that information out there. So I've been working with Stephen Newton, trying to compile a men's half marathon all-time ranking list. That's still a work in progress, but because I'm busy with all these other things going on, I appreciate that we're now having partnerships with people like Talking Chinoi, Stephen, who's really been of great help. We're working on the men's half marathon list. I was working on the women's half marathon list. Obviously, with no competitions much, I'm still covering the Vietnamese Speedy Cup, which is ongoing. We have the Southeast Asian rankings. I'm looking at the women's 200 next when I have time, doing a more comprehensive in-depth list for that. We're looking at, a survey, or not a survey, but looking at data on countries in the world which have the most doping cases in athletics. Recently, there's been some issues with the 400 sprinter from Bahrain in the women's. So it'll be interesting to see with the data which countries seem to have the most doping offences at the moment if we were to rank them in athletics. And also looking at like looking at promoting events which we can do well at, which are events which are not as well promoted as they should be compared to other events in track and field, but looking at, helping out walks and pole vault. These are two events that we could be really good at, and in pole vault we're already really good at, but the question is with pole vault is what happens after EJ. That's why with events like pole vault, it's good that it's wonderful we have one really good athlete, but we need to basically carry on that momentum by providing, things that are needed, for pole vaulters to, for us to be able to produce more pole vaulters, for example. And the same with walks. It's an event which we have a lot of potential in, I feel, because if you look at the Olympic champions in the walks, they're all like, like they're from countries like Ecuador. Ecuador, like the only gold that they've won in the Olympics, mate, I think is in the walks. And if you look at the Ecuadorians, they're not like, genetic specimens compared to some of the other West African type athletes. The walks is not dominated by East or West Africans like the sprints or the long distance events. So there is a chance in the walks, I feel, because in the walks, that's dominated by several different countries. Walks isn't dominated by one particular subgroup. It's basically that event is shared around between different countries. So I feel that is an event we could potentially be stronger in if the support was given to that event.
Yes, that's right, buddy.
Same with pole vault as well to some extent, but with pole vault, it seems that you need to have a certain combinations of things. One is height. Obviously, EJ is 6'2" or 6'3", so that helps a lot. But it's not just the height that makes EJ a good pole vaulter. It's basically like what I narrowed it down to is three other things as well as the height. The factors is speed, because he went from 12 to 10.9 in the 100, and like pretty much most pole vaulters jumping over 6 meters. EJ's a 580 meter jumper for the public information. Most guys jumping over 6 meters are running under 11 seconds. I mean, like Duplantis has run like 10.6. Bubka allegedly ran 10.9 holding a pole. Levelini's sub 11, I believe. So you need speed. You need to be like a 6 meter vaulter. You need to be a sub 11 type runner. Then also you need strength. EJ, as I know it, from 18 to now, he went from a 60 kilo power clean in the gym to 120 kilo power clean in the gym. And that gain in strength also correlated with his 12 seconds to his 10.9. He got quicker as he got more powerful and stronger in the gym. And the other thing I feel from the mental side of things for the pole vault is, you need to have a lot of courage and a lot of guts to be in that event, because imagine you're falling from 5 meters, he's falling from 5 meters. I mean, even if you're falling from 3 meters, that's like basically falling off the roof of your house. If you're falling from 5 meters, it's almost like falling off the second floor of a building. That's pretty high. So you need, and a lot can go wrong in the pole vault. You can, as EJ knows, you can land incorrectly, you can fall, you can miss the mat, there's a lot of issues there. So so in summary, pole vault requires height, speed, strength, and guts and courage. So those are the 4 things that you need to, I think, to get that world-class type pole vaulter.
Yeah. So we
Okay, we have a question here, Airnel, from Tessa Rumboa. I think it's a question. It was posted. Could you have a quick read of it? It's posted on the Facebook live. It begins with Bago Palang. Oh, okay, I'll just quickly read it. Okay.
Yes.
So yep.
Yes. I'm reading now all the are the comments or shout outs. By the way, again, ladies and gentlemen, we would like to invite you on Tuesday, and then also kindly add or join the book group Pinoy Athletics. That's one word, and also like our Facebook page, facebook.com/Pinoy Athletics, and also visit our website www.pinoyathletics.info. So we can still on board for the next uh 10 more minutes. Thank you, Coach Dario Dumlao, for joining us. Member na kayo ng ng Facebook group sa Pinoy Athletics, Coach Dario?
Yes po, okay po.
Okay,
Member
sige.
na.
Encourage pa
Reading this
natin yung
comment
mga iba nating kasama.
from
Then
Tessa.
hopefully, yeah.
Wow. Hello? I'm just reading this comment from Tessa Rombao. When I was in the province, I did do coaching in our district elementary. Happy to learn pointers to versatile coaches and trainers. Okay. Okay, thank you for that comment. I'm sure that we can provide a lot of information towards you via social networks. Jundi Binyus, former member of the national team, more power. 2000 and former SEA Games bronze medalist in the long jump, Nino Moraia, King Boar. Okay, that's. I think that's all the comments. I'm just having a quick. Doesn't seem to display all of them. There's supposedly 10 comments here, but okay.
Right now, so I don't know. Okay, so as I'm saying earlier, can you, to those who can hear me, we are planning to have our series of grassroots visits in Luzon and Visayas and Mindanao in 2021 if the travel and the other logistical concerns will be addressed due to COVID-19. So far, there are already few host venues that work. It's not working. Buddy, I think I'm having challenges again on the connection.
Yep.
Yeah, can you hear me now? I think I'm having not so good connection now. Okay, I'm back now. Okay, so it's good. Yeah. So I'm saying I'm saying Jundi said only more power, and also at the same time, we would like also to invite everyone in 2021. We are open for partners for our first ever Pinoy Athletics Grassroots Athletics Workshop and Congress in Luzon, Visayas, in Mindanao. So we are planning in the early 2020, like April or September 2021 or April or May 2022. So we will go to at least 3 different legs for this program. So we highly encourage to those LGUs, clubs, or private or um, corporate entities to partner with us. We are open for partnerships. We are open for sponsorships, advertising. We have now, buddy, how many followers on Facebook? We have 22,000 plus followers on Facebook group, and how many
23.
likes on Facebook page? Statistics.
Facebook page is like
How
23 to
many
25,000.
Yes.
Facebook
So
page
to our to our how many followers on Facebook?
is 23 to 25,000 on Facebook. So we have 23 to 25,000 on Facebook. We have almost 9,000 on the Facebook group, and there's around, I think, a last count, like between around 60 to 70,000 followers, or 60 to 80,000 followers on the mailing list. Okay, so yeah, so today it hasn't really been a
Some
great
challenges.
turnout. I think there's been a lot of connection issues.
Yes.
You know, like
Yeah, we can
even
wrap it up now. Yeah.
especially in the Philippines, there's been a lot of connection issues, very slow, stalling internet at the moment. We'd just like to again thank everybody who tuned in today for Thursday's Pinoy Athletics Track Talk Q&A. And
Yes.
again, thank you to all our followers who who tuned in via Facebook Live, or thank you to Dario Dumlau for tuning in to the group. Again, a reminder that on Tuesday at 2 p.m. Manila time, we will be having our special guest, Miss Christine Halasgo, the SEA Games Marathon champion, via Zoom, and we'll also be streaming via Facebook live video. So, yep, we'll just be wrapping this up. Again, this recording of this Zoom session will be available on Facebook under the Pinoy Athletics page, and also it might be uploaded as well onto YouTube for those who missed it. Again, thank you, and I'll leave Airnel with any further closing remarks.
some connection again. So
Okay, I'll just
okay.
carry
So we
on.
will yeah. Okay. Yeah, so we thank everyone who joined us for today. So we hope that you can join us next time for the Track Talk next Tuesday. So we say goodbye for now, buddy. Then thank you for everyone. Okay. Thanks, everyone. Bye bye.